The following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
What's up, everybody?
Hola!
Hey, Antman, how's it going?
What's up?
What's up?
How was your weekend?
Yeah, so this is RA Nation with Roxy and Antman. Yo! So, how was your weekend, Antman? Did you get out and about?
My fucking neck hurts, but I'm good. It's been really awesome. I realized a couple of things while being out. One, I realized just exactly how out of shape I really am. That was one thing. The second thing would be being out of venues for as long as we've all been out of venues, going to a live show again, I realized exactly how loud it is in the venue, and then the third thing I realized is that my epic hairnado is and has went viral, I guess, in our community.
I can see why.
Let's not talk about that. It was fun, man. But other than that, what about you? What'd you get into this weekend?
I went to shows. It was my first weekend off from a reptile show. So I went out and saw a few live bands, hit local bands. I went and saw Mark Rizzio from Soulfly. It was so awesome. And Whiskey Dick. So it was pretty badass. And yes, my neck hurts too. I did some headbanging in it, and I'm feeling it.
Yeah, man. What's going on, Mr. Mike Bates in the chat? Shout out to Mr. Mike Bates and Sean Fitzpatrick hanging out as well.
What's up, Sean?
And so we got a cool guest tonight, man. Jack of all trades, master of none, our good friend and colleague in the music scene, Chad McElwee, hanging out with us.
Yeah, let's bring him on.
Let's do it.
Get the party started.
Well, how is everybody?
What's up, buddy?
I think you always say my last name wrong, but it's okay. I don't care.
I do. Say it. Say it.
Pronunciation.
Say it.
You gotta say it like there's an A in there. It's McElwee. McElwee.
McElwee.
Yeah, like McElwee.
McElwee.
There you go.
I've always questioned it, so I'm glad we got that out of the way.
It's all right because telemarketers are calling.
I'm so glad that I was able to clear this up publicly on my podcast. That's great.
Thanks for being on, guys. Later.
Yeah.
Sweet and short.
Yeah, right. Talk about embarrassed. Like I gotta get my powder out.
Cool guest coming on. Who else is going to be on tonight?
Marilyn Manson's coming on here in a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, I just got a text. He's canceled.
Shit,
We got totally Turtle is up in the house this evening as well.
Yeah. I got my little buddy friend.
The total tortoise.
Put this big screen here.
I think he's gonna be our new mascot.
And he's so cute.
He's a turtley little turtle.
He's a sulcata tortoise, and I also have one that's 35 years old who's about 50 pounds. Look at his face. He's so sweet, man.
What people don't realize is RA stands for reptile asshole, and that you didn't know that. Oh man, what a killer show tonight. We're gonna be talking all kinds of stuff. Music development is gonna be up on deck this evening. We're also gonna be opening up the forum here. So if you have questions, concerns about music development, or if you just want to weigh in on the comments, feel free to do so that we can incorporate you into this fun little shindig.
Yeah. Wherever your comments may be, just start putting them in. Just do it.
And just remember, just so everybody at home and everybody who uses hashtag replay with this is a positive, influential kind of thing. If you have negativity to say, that's cool, but it will not be tolerated. So just be respectful. We're all here for a good time.
Can I add a little disclaimer before you go too far?
Do it.
I do not claim to be an expert on anything. I can only speak from my experiences.
Yep, that's how I am. Been there, done that. This is what you get, and don't take it and run with it. Just use it if you can, you know?
Absolutely.
And said it best, jack of all trades, master of none.
You know, I feel like you have to be. Like, this is 2021, bro. Like, if you're not.
It had to be 10 years ago, too. We're just now, like, really realizing it.
Right.
You know, it's like, now it's like more people are aware of, like, hey, I have a lot of shit I need to do.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's either you pay those that know how to do it, or you take classes or whatever you need to do to learn how to do it.
Well, let's kind of flow that into this music scene, you know, industry talk with us. You know, there are different elements, it's a multifaceted, like, what would you say are some of the top things that we should really kind of like learn about?
Like we,
scene?
as in who?
What?
Like,
Bands, industry talk. Let's talk about music.
Well, yeah, I got you, but like, not everybody kind of needs to learn the same thing, you know. Like, so if you're like an artist, like from an artist standpoint, learning how to connect to the audience that you're trying to connect to.
Let me say this to you, Chad. There are three. What do you say to this? They say there's three roles in music. One being ceremonial purposes, two being recreational purposes, and three artistic expression.
See, I already don't like the rules. I feel limited already.
Right.
Yeah, you're being put in a box now.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know. I've always just wanted to like just do me. Like, like I don't know. I maybe that's the thing. Not something I was aware of, but
yeah, they're all important, but you don't necessarily have to have one or the other.
No.
I mean, you know, to me, it's just always been because like music moves, like it should move you, you know, especially if you're the one creating it. Like it should move you, and it should speak to something of how you feel. And if it doesn't, then maybe you're just not found the right one yet. I don't know.
How do you define music, Chad?
Good question.
How do I define music? I mean, music is vibration.
That's an easy answer.
No, I mean, it seems super square, right? But it really is. Music is vibration. Like I can be sitting anywhere, like, you know, on in a park and just listening to random noises, and then just start to hear like little rhythmic patterns that kind of just, I don't know. But like, you know, music to me was, for a lot of it, was like salvation in a way. Like, you know, because I can remember, you know, when I was an angry teenager and thought the world hated me, you know, music was there. Like it was there to help me through.
It's therapy.
And then as I got older and realized the world does hate me, it was still there. The music was still there. So like, I don't know. To me, music is more than just, it is more than just vibration, but at the root of it, it is. I mean, it's motion, it's energy.
Energy is how I'd sum it up too, for sure.
Well, I think, you know,
Great.
What up, Greg?
Mr. Greg, I think, you know, when we sit down and really talk about the big picture of it, you know, I think you're going to get something different from everybody. I agree with everything that both of you said. But it's also something that in the right form, it can spark thoughts and different things in people that necessarily might not realize it then in that moment, but some point down the road, they're going to hit a life experience. So they're going to hit something. It's going to smack them directly in the face. and then they're going to be like, damn.
Yep.
And it's going to be a residual like thing, and it's going to turn into a cause and effect. And I think we all hope that that cause and effect is a positive one, though we have to admit sometimes it's not.
No, it's not. I mean, music is kind of like a little time machine, and you know, like one
Never-lasting memory that
random song might just pop on the radio, like while you're randomly doing something else, and like you just instantly remember a particular day and time. You know, and it's not always a good memory, like you were saying. Sometimes it just brings up bad memories, but it's kind of the way music goes. I mean, you know, songs that you connect to, you kind of connect to them in different ways, and it's different for everybody.
You mentioned in a recent social media post, you mentioned, you know, about being in the dark there for a little while, and how you didn't get into detail, but you touched on something that resonated with me in that post, was how you talked about the idea that you're in a dark place, but you're in a dark place most of the time, but you're trying to see the light and you're working towards living your best life, is what I gathered from the post.
I don't know, I guess I'm kind of weird, or maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm like a lot more people than I'm aware of, but like I've always been like that personality type that's like all in. So like if I decide like this is what I want, like this is what I'm gonna do, I'm all into that thing. So I'm kind of like a light bulb, right? I'm on. I'm like I'm on. Everything's good. I'm serving a purpose. I'm doing my job. Like I'm on. But then when something happens that like that can't be a thing, or like that's not really doing anything anymore, and like the light's off, it's like, oh shit, I have nothing to do now. So I don't know, and it's weird. It's weird to say that, but like, you know, I with the last band we put 7 years of light on, you know, just going, driving. And then when everything kind of just had to take a break and we put on pause for a little while, it was like, and like that just like really, I don't know, it was a weird experience for me because I wasn't used to it for so long.
Right. So
I mean, like, yeah, don't get me wrong, we've all had a rough year, and like, you know, personal life things, there are things that are still getting worked out and everything, you know, not music or band related, just me. But like, you know, I don't know. I feel like I got my head in the right direction. I just had to find somewhere else to refocus that energy for now, and to kind of keep myself moving and get picked back up and get my spirits where they need to be.
Well, you know, moving forward with that, man, you congratulations. I believe congratulations is in order for your new position in Illusions. If you haven't already, local music familia out there in our community, and likewise throughout the entire state of Ohio, make sure you guys go find Illusions on Facebook and show them some love for putting up with this guy over here.
Yeah, I had so much fun at the show Saturday night.
I was getting ready to ask you. That was my next question. How was it?
Oh, I feel bad for him. Well, considering the show would have marked my 4th practice with the band, I didn't mess up too much, so I was pretty happy with the show considering. We have another show in August. It'll be the next show with opening for Red, so I'm really looking forward to having a little more time to kind of prepare better.
Well, and it helps you're going to be playing the same venue. So, like, there won't be, other than the band itself, there may not be a lot changing, right?
I will say this, that stage reminded me so much of like what it was to play on El Rosa. I don't mean this like the feel and everything. I mean like strictly the way the sound feels. Like, you know, remember how El Rosa, the sound, you know, you could hear that kick drum all the way at the back. And I mean, and it's like that here, but when you're on stage, it doesn't sound the same way as it does out in the floor.
I agree.
So like Al Rosa was one of those few stages that when you were on stage and you had your face to the audience, your back to the drummer, and like they would hit the kick drum, like you would feel that like come through your back, like just shoot through you. And like this, it was the same way there. Soon as Tim hit the kick drum the first few times and they pulled it up in the speakers, I was like, oh. It was cool. It was just cool. It was a lot of fun. Those lights are so bright you can't see anybody. So I had I have no idea if people were booing me or not, but
You know, honestly, man, I've been to a lot of venues, and I love that about certain venues because let's be honest, psychologically, like if a bright light's in your face, psychologically, you're like, all right, cool, I'm going to focus on my music. I'm going to look at the bass player. I'm going to look at the drummer. I'm going to look at the whatever, you know, and having that light in your face keeps the psychological of how many people are here, what's going on out there, da 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 da.
no, see, I don't know that I've ever really had that issue when it comes to being on stage, because like as soon as the lights kind of pull up and like the music starts, like I've just like, for you know, the
Moment.
cliche thing to say is like, you know, the world stops, but it does. Like from that point clear up until the end, and I have to rush and get my stuff off the stage for the next guys. But for that moment, it's like nothing else in the whole world matters. Literally, outside of the venue, the world could just have just ended, and it wouldn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? It really is that kind of a thing. And but when you see people down in the front, like when you see them like moving and stuff, it adds to the energy and it helps. But like I've kind of, something I forced myself to do a long time ago. I learned how to just kind of make my own vibe and energies, because, you know, like a lot of us have had to do the Facebook Live concerts this year for the first time, you know, where you're not really playing to an audience.
Yeah.
Like that you can see, you know, it's different. I mean, yeah, you could have 1,000 people on the other end of the camera, but they're not right there where you can see how they're reacting. So you don't get the energy feedback. But, you know, a long time ago, I've kind of just forced myself to like, hey, I don't care if one person shows up or if it's a sea of faces, like I need to be able to do the same thing each time.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to kind of force yourself into. But for me, like once everything kind of just starts, like there's no nerves anymore. And I don't know, it's just there. I mean, it's just the moment. You just enjoy it. You just do it. And like someone's asked me about like, you know, because like I do different like little kind of stage moves sometimes, and people are like, you know, how do you do some of that? Like, I don't know. Like it's kind of like I'm just freestyle dancing. Like, you know, I just kind of let the music make me do stuff. Like I don't force any kind of action. Now every once in a while I accidentally do something cool and I'm like, oh, do that again. But for the most part, like I'm just kind of winging it. Yeah. You know, just because I feel it, and that's what I mean. You can kind of see that, you know, you can see when somebody's not really into it as compared to when someone is like all in.
Yeah, man, especially if you're in the same field or realm as that person. Like, you know, like I don't know. I feel like there's like some people are really good poker faces. I'll give them that. I will. But you know, as far as music goes, like you can't fake that shit. You just can't. You know, so like I agree, man. You're either in it or you're not, and it's always visible to the fan. The fan will always see through your bullshit, no matter what.
Oh yeah, and that's why I said it's just I've just always been me, like not trying to be something I'm not.
So, you know, stepping away from the band side of things, and we start talking about moving away from there, you really decided at one point that you were like, you know what, I don't want to move away from music. I just want to see more facets of music. So let's talk about the new studio that you happen to be in right now.
Yeah, well, it's not really new, but it is kind of new in the fact that I've actually started to like open it up to other people. It kind of started, so I went to school for recording and stuff. Like that was, you know, coming out of high school, I was like, that's what I want to do. So I done that. I graduated. I did really well there, and then went and got a real job. You know, first because I needed money, and
Right.
good at that job, so I like that became fast track in 7 days of my life. But the music thing was always there, and so I made enough money. I put enough money together, and I remodeled this little building that we used to just party in. in high school. So like literally this was just one open room, bare stud walls, concrete floor, like unfinished, unheated, everything. And like through high school, we would just throw a band in the corner and buy a keg, and everybody would hang out for the weekend. You know, we're out in the country, like there's no one to care. But so I got some money together, and I dumped a ton of money into renovating the walls and quite a bit into the equipment, which I wish I'd had a little more to put into that. Slowly been adding, but so I done all that, and kind of got back into playing music again, and like we used it as basically just a practice space for a long time. Because at that time I didn't really know that many bands, and I've done a couple little things for some friends and stuff, but like nothing of real big scale, just because I didn't really have enough friends doing it yet. And then we started playing up around Columbus a lot, and I started meeting people up there, and like the scene here locally kind of picked back up again, and I kind of got involved there. And so yeah, I mean, it's just been like a slow growth thing. I mean, it's not, I haven't like I don't like push it real hard or heavy or anything. Not that I would not love to be doing just that for a living, because that would be awesome. But I'm still learning. I don't like consider myself to be like, the professional of anything yet. So like, I know where my skill level is. And so like when I charge a band, I charge based on that. Like I'm not, I don't want to feel like I'm overcharging or
Yeah.
Kind of my approach to it. So I mean, it's just been kind of a slow, steady thing. But I got doing 3 projects currently, and then with the new band getting ready to start a 4th. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Some cool things will be coming out later this year that I had a chance to do. So
I'm gonna name drop that for you right there. After the Bridge
Yeah,
Studio.
So let me tell you a funny story about that one. Because I finally had someone to ask me why I called it After the Bridge Studio.
She beat me to it.
Well, so they thought it was like music related because the bridge is a reference to a particular section of a song.
Silly people.
Actually has nothing to do with music. I had a friend of mine I was recording rap vocals for at the time. He was coming out of Columbus every weekend.
I want to hear those.
This is years back, man. Okay. This is years back. If you don't release it, I'm not going to. But anyway, so he would take the bus down to Chillicothe, and he would meet a couple other friends, then they would drive out here. Okay. So the first time he's coming here, he's on the phone with me, and he's like, all right, I just turned on the road. How far down this road? I was like, well, it's 1.3 miles from where you turned. And I'm on the left. And he's like, okay, well, I see a couple houses over. I said, I am the first driveway after the bridge. And that's where the name comes from. Because it's after the bridge. It's literally the first driveway.
It is.
The only bridge on the road.
Landmark now.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like it's the easiest way for me to tell people where it is.
Nice.
Because literally I sat like 300 feet off the road, so I'm not running my little old ass out there just to wave somebody down.
Oh man. So, working in a recording studio and doing that for a while, man, for as long as you've been doing it. Let's talk about marketing a little bit. I know that we've bounced off marketing conversations time and time again, but
more about.
Huh?
Still something I'm learning more and more about.
Yeah. So, my man Mike Bates threw in a couple of topics in there, and it's funny that Mike threw those topics in there because I was actually in a roundabout way going to touch on a little bit of that throughout the evening. But since Mike's in my head tonight, we're gonna do this for Mike. So they, upon like definition, modern marketing, it's like the holistic adaptive methodology that connects brands with real customers and drives business results by blending strategy, creative, technology, and analysis together. How do you, when you think about the recording studio and as a band member, like thinking about modern marketing and trying to market the band in the studio, what is your approach to that?
Well, I mean, right now the studio kind of has just been a word of mouth thing. I haven't, like I said, I haven't really been pushing real hard on it or anything. Now there's a lot about marketing that I still don't fully understand and don't know. So I'm not going to sit here and claim to like have the secret for everybody, because I don't. Although the what I have learned is that there is no real one way for any particular project, because the approach of what you're, if you look at it from a band standpoint, like, so as the band, we have a product just like any other company, right? Our product is our music, is our shows, etc. And we're trying to find an effective way to market that, to get more people interested in, at least eyeballs to at least see it, because that's like the hardest part right now, is just getting eyes on. So, the approach that a band would use is, obviously going to be a little different. And while there's a lot of similarities, there's, your strategy is different. Your audience is different, because band A and band B don't always share the exact same audience. I know, and I see this a lot in a lot of the music promotion stuff. They're saying, like, it'll start like, if for fans of band A, B, and C, check out, and then it has like a video clip of the band.
Yep.
And that's actually a proven strategy that does work. I don't think it's as effective as it used to be, but it did work. And that's always nice when you have a band that you can say, hey, we sound like bands A, B, and C. I've never, with Then Falls the Sky, I don't know that I could even say band A or B, let alone pick three that I think we sounded like.
Yeah. I think it's funny because I listen to a lot of bands and I get a lot of submissions, not just, for my podcast, but just bands and people that find out that I listen or check out music. And they'll be like, oh, check this out. And I start digging in and I start looking at them and their social media. And one thing that always either turns me on or turns me off of a band is the way they digital market, if they do any at all.
So for like the better example for me, and the way that I've tried to approach this, and like, because there's always the stigma of, oh, they're paying for likes, right? I mean, I've never been a person that cared about what the like number was. Like that stat doesn't interest me. The stat of how many people are actually curious to hear the new single, that's the stat that always correlates. So but marketing doesn't start with paid advertisement. Marketing starts just posting regularly.
Footwork, even, street teaming the shit out of it, honestly. Right?
But as a band, you pretty much have, it's always been my experience, you have one or two people that are actually kind of focused at this, at this part of it, not just making music, but figuring out how to make that relate to people that are interested. But, just posting, and I'll tell you this, if you haven't ever tried this in your life, try to post, and I don't mean on your personal page, but on an actual like business page of any sort. Try to make one post every single day for a whole year. It sounds real easy. It really does. It's a lot harder. It's a lot harder to do well.
I suck at social media, bro, and I'm in media. I just can't. I can't live on it every day.
And you don't have to. You really don't have to, because that's what I hear everybody say is, man, I can't always be on Facebook. Well, you don't have to. Facebook has this thing where you can schedule posts.
Yep.
And then, when you got a band or a group of people that manage a page, you have a group of people that should be able to respond to comments and stuff throughout the day. Everybody hears their phone beep and can go, oh yeah, that's cool.
I have some of the bands, and I could name drop, but I don't do that. But they'll know who they are when they hear this or listen to this podcast, because the reality is, man, is that, they all create the page and they all have access to it. Is everybody participating you know, like just because it's on your phone doesn't mean you're really like.
So, yeah, but there's different aspects to that too, because I mean every band dynamic is different. You can't expect every member in the band to have exactly the same strengths and weaknesses.
And sometimes it's good to designate roles in the band.
Some people just aren't very good at speaking and interacting with new people. That's not a person you want to be potentially interacting with a new potential, fan or, listener. So find a different strength and put them in a different area. Being in a band is way more than just posting on Facebook. You know what I mean? There's a lot of aspects. So when you have a full band, you can kind of divvy that out and find out where everybody's strengths are and then put, work towards your strengths. Don't focus so much on your weakness. The weakness is the stuff you should be trying to learn and get better at, but not relying on.
You think, doing some affiliate marketing, you think it's a wise idea to like have a band sign up for some affiliate marketing? I mean, just as a thought, like I'm thinking out loud here.
Affiliate marketing by what way?
So like affiliate marketing, like, so say for instance, I don't know, a small little drum company or small little guitar company makes these guitars or makes these tools or whatever it is. And, you could sign up, get affiliate marketing through them, and people come to you or your band and see the link and click on it. And you get, it helps local business and helps the band.
So affiliate marketing is kind of like I advertise for you, you advertise for me.
Right.
The kind of the concept. For bands, it's a hard area because you think about like the products that the bands are going to want to market, right? Obviously, it's going to be an instrument or something that's used around the music itself. Well, all of those companies need band member me for me to get any kind of real action like that. I need to have a ton of people that care enough about what guitar I play to start with. Affiliate marketing it's useful and it's very common in music, but not like at the lower level.
A lot of perspectives to take into play there, huh?
Yeah, I mean, like I got like a little small endorsement ish thing through a little sunglass company. Mainly because I got a big discount and I needed a new pair of sunglasses, and it just kind of worked out. So I mean, yeah, there's some benefits there, and if you can come across stuff like that, I mean, as long as it works for you. I'm not a fan of like trying to market a product that you don't actually like or think is worth anything.
I have had bands that I've spoken to on the business side of things, because I do a lot of consulting for bands and other people in the community. But like a lot of them are trying, because they're not website savvy and because they're not certain savvy in which way or another, like they're starting to do like search engine marketing and just trying to work on getting their band name to the top of the search as best and efficient as they can. The biggest conversation,
SEO optimization.
Yeah. The biggest thing that I have is I run into bands. They're like, "Oh, dude, I'm number one on Reverb Nation."
Yeah, that matters nothing. You know how to be number one on Reverb Nation.
Share.
Just post one post every day.
Yep.
I guarantee you, there's not too many of your same bands that are doing that, and it'll just drive you to the top because you're being active. That's how
that is important. Being active.
It's just ranked on activity, nothing else.
Right.
Being number one on a Google search, there's a lot of metadata involved in that, and if you are into that scenario and that technology aspect of it, great, run with it. But everybody knows
that's important. That is a very important part of doing it. Now, when you have a band name that is like literally you're the only one with that name, that is a whole lot easier to do. You know what I mean? Because every post you post on Facebook, every tweet, all that stuff all ends up kind of working together because there's no one else with that name. But there's a lot of bands that, it happens all the time. Like,
let's talk about this comment here. Another trick, take an old cell phone or just go to your page and hit play and let it set all day. Is that going to actually create the traffic that we need?
So Spotify it will.
No,
It's been proven on Spotify that it does work, or it used to. I don't know if they've changed it, but it used to.
it does worse for you on Spotify than it does more harm than good.
Really?
Searching
Facebook
for a
is
band
really
does
not.
better.
Wow.
So on Spotify, you get the algorithm is going to trigger better through natural plays and an active plays, because Spotify cares more about active listeners than passive listeners. So when you go to a playlist, right, and then you click on the third song in because you know that band, you like that song, and you click on it, right, that song will get basically a bigger bump in the ratings than every song after it that just plays in sequential, because after that you're no longer physically telling it what to play. It's a passive listen. Now those listens don't hurt, they do help, but an active listen is always better than a passive listen. So for me to just put my phone on an endless Spotify loop of my own band's music doesn't really help me in any real way, because it's one listener that's just that's passively listening to the same set of songs. It doesn't really generate much, and it doesn't generate too much income either. So
I want to give, we were talking about social media a little bit before this. I'm going to give a little friendly tip. This podcast is about little tips and tricks. I'm going to give you one. So when you're scheduling your social media post, make sure that you do it from your business suite on Facebook, so you can cross post from Instagram to Facebook. Bam, bam. And then when you schedule your posts, make sure that you don't just schedule your post every day at 11, every day at whatever. Make sure it's like 11:04, 11. What you want to look personable, right? I mean, you don't want to look like it's generic as fuck.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the time that you post it, whether it's at exactly the same time each day or if it's a little off, isn't as important as the content that's being posted.
Fair enough.
That makes sense. Like, when was the last time you saw a post from anybody and you paid attention to the time it was posted over what was posted? You don't, and most people don't see things right when they're posted anyway. They see it an hour or two later. And that's the other part of the posting regular content on the business page, is because the Facebook algorithm is going to show each user a different feed based on the stuff they interact with, right?
Yep.
So if someone has liked your page, especially, this is the more important part, if they've liked your page recently. So the first 4 to 5 days after you like a new page, have you ever noticed that you see more of those posts, like right at the top? Okay, so in the first few days, if you don't really interact with them, you kind of quit seeing them. Anybody else had that experience?
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Okay. Even if they're posting every day, if you don't interact with it, if the content isn't resonating with you, then that page is just going to be lower in your feed, right? Well, the same thing works when if you post once every week or once every 2 weeks, the same thing happens, because Facebook cares about the first 4 to 5 hours after the post is made.
Yeah.
So if it does, and the other part of it, they did the same thing, because Instagram did it first with limiting how many people see it before they open it, like a little umbrella, so like within the first 30 minutes to an hour, only like 20% of your audience gets to see it. And then it has to have a certain percentage of interaction before they'll open it up to 30 to 40 to 50.
And it works with comments as well. If somebody comments, it's going to start showing friends of those friends.
Interactions. So the comments, likes, shares, all that stuff's interactions.
Yeah.
But it brings the bigger part of the question. So posting every day consistently guarantees the better likelihood of your people seeing it, because by doing this, I did it for a solid 2 years. So that's kind of like a research thing, right? So what I noticed is that some people would see my post almost immediately, and then other people would see it like a day or two later.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why is that important, right? As long as they're seeing my stuff, I should be okay with that. Well, if I'm selling show tickets and I get down to the day before the post, posting, I have 4 tickets left. If that person doesn't see that, being Thursday, and they don't see it till Sunday, that matters to me.
Right.
I did read that 3 times a day is very ideal to help with the promotions of whatever you're trying to accomplish.
If you can.
if you can, it can be very difficult, but 3 times a day, you're going to get out there and you're going to target different people in different levels of the different times of day. And you might feel like you're just throwing it down everybody's throat, but
No, not
it's
really.
all about how you do it. Like I did the same thing Chad did for social media, and I tested it out. I gave it a good solid year. That's what they say, is give it a good solid year. You know, Chad went above and beyond, you know, doing study and everything. Because, I mean, that's what you got to do. He's in the realm to have to do that. I mean, that's brilliant.
You have to learn how to live with the algorithm. That's great.
Right. Right. You know, but it's about how you post and how your fans or viewers.
The bigger side of it, obviously, consistency is important.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how often we do it. But the bigger side of it is having something of value to post. And what I mean of value is, if I make the post, are you going to at least stop and look at it? You know what I mean? Or are you just going to glance past me and pass right over it?
I read a study. Huffington Post did a study about social media influencers who post absolutely nothing in the comments, like it's just fluff, and then at the very bottom they'll space down 6 or 7 times and create a space, and then put a win $100 Amazon gift card, and they, you know, basically baiting viewers and people, you know, but
free stuff.
They were just doing it to show how people are like, oh, I gotta, ooh, you know.
Yeah, so you know, because I saw the same thing and I was paying attention to that. So I tried this for a little while. I created like a headline or a very brief post, you know, like 1 or 2 lines, maybe 3, depending on what the post was about. And then I made sure I put a big, hard 1-line break. And then I put the whole rest of the post. Sometimes it'd be real long. Sometimes it'd just be another couple of lines. So some people would stop and only see the headline, if you will. You know, Instagram is real bad at that because you don't really get to see much anyway.
Well, what pops up on your phone, you know, like that first little.
Yeah. So, I mean, you do the headline, you make sure it's at least covering like the important part of it. And then the rest of it is kind of the details and stuff. And, you know, you can kind of do your own study and you can like make those conflict with each other to see who actually is paying attention to the bottom. But the quality of the content has always been the bigger part. And when it comes to it, and this is what I wanted to touch on more. It's more important than the 3 times a day thing, because if you could post 3 high value or high quality or 3 posts that are going to get good interaction every day, you'd be killing it. I mean, that's like, you know, the goal. But just doing that 1 post every day is very hard. You know, because like your audience is always changing from week to week, from month to month, year to year. So trying to figure out what type of posts, and I always broke everything down to like a formatted type. Like this is, you know, this was my Motivation Monday post. I know you guys have saw some of those. I did the Tuesday vibe ones for a little while. We did Throwback Thursdays here and there. And I just looked at all the different styles of posts I was doing, and I was like, this Motivation Monday always seems to do really good. So I was like, okay, well, let's just kind of keep doing that and, you know, keep tweaking it a little bit.
Right.
The posts that I would do and just be an epic hard fail, you know, right out of the gate, I'd be like, okay, I might try that 1 more time, but if it fails horrendously again, then I just won't do that anymore. And you have to learn how to tailor that content. And I know it sounds like it's like, well, why should I have to do that? Well, that's kind of part of the game.
It's the world we live in, honestly. Everything's virtually fed to us.
Well, everything is marketing, and even that is marketing, whether anybody wants to admit it or not. That is marketing that you're not paying for.
Yep.
Spending time.
And you know, and I agree with Greg, man, 100%. Like, you know, what was new yesterday is old today. I totally, you know, agree with that. So moving forward from that part of the marketing, let's talk about crowdfunding a little bit, man. Bands and everybody. Go ahead.
I don't have a lot of experience here, but
yeah, it's one of those things that it can be beneficial, but again, if you start it, you have to finish it. Like it's not one of those like, oh, cool, create it today and then on Friday. Like,
no. No, so I mean, like I've seen some pretty good campaigns run. Um, we never really done like a big crowdfunding thing. We kind of did a small one that worked, that actually went pretty well. But we met our goal, and it was a small goal. It wasn't anything over the top. I've seen bands that have done it really well, and I've seen a lot that just kind of forget about it. I've never successfully had a lot of work out there. But again, that's not an area that I'm very good at to start with. If it's like for a benefit, if we're trying to raise money for this benefit, then yeah, I can drive that message home all day long. But I just have this real guilty thing about me hounding all my friends on Facebook about trying to sell stuff to them all day.
So I want to ask, because we've talked about it. You've used Shopify in the past for your merch and for other things, correct?
Technically, the store is still up and running. Although I thought about it, I have at least get in there and minimize retailer down to just stuff I have on hand now instead of everything. But yeah, I personally like Shopify. I like the pricing. I think they're overpriced for a band, but
I know we got some time getting out of here, but I want to put out there for everybody this new website called Fan Circles. Is from Patreon. It's the alternative for music artists. Make sure you guys check it out. I dropped a link in the Facebook, and I will actually see if it'll let me drop comments in here. I don't think it will. It will not.
Yeah, but it's big. Yeah.
Yep, there it is. Yeah.
Big.
Yeah, that's really big. That's what she said.
You ain't got a smart link?
So one thing I need to throw out real quick is for all those I'm getting the comments from Facebook. So if you're not a part of a member of RA Nation, please hit that join button and join our team, and let's have some talk. Let's talk.
Yeah, man.
Whatever you want to.
Join this mofo and come in and like, maybe what we can do is create something inside of that where we can do like a video chat and we can bring everybody in with questions and we can try to help some mofos, because that's what this is all about, man. We are all we have at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So,
do we still have a little time?
We got 3 minutes left.
I was going to try to answer my little experience with the crowdfunding.
Mom's trying to wrangle us in, Chad.
We always ran a private group for the band. Considered it people that were like our core support. Like we never tried to invite people into it. Like it was people kind of found it on their own, and we accepted them. So we marketed when we were recording the last EP. We said like, hey, we got 3 slots for $100 each. You can come and hang out in the studio with us all day. We'll buy lunch. You get to hang out while we're recording and just experience it. We sold 2 of those. And that $200 that we made on that basically paid to have the CDs printed. So like that was my best ever real foray into crowdfunding, if you call it that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think this is a topic that we should definitely revisit as we develop and change and move forward, because I think there's a lot of people that could benefit from a lot of this stuff.
Absolutely.
But Roxy, thank you so much for running an awesome show, and thanks for wrangling me in, because we could totally talk about all this until like 1 a.m. for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Happens as this is over, he's going to FaceTime me.
Why you gotta think about that?
So everybody, make sure you check out Chad at his new studio. I've got the link running down there at the bottom.
New but old.
New but old, yes.
And familiar.
And the new band Illusion. Check them out as well. Make sure you check us out on Music Familiar Productions on Facebook, on YouTube.
Like, share, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe, and also on RA Nation podcast on Facebook, the group. Make sure you join and chat with us there. And
shout outs real quick. Mr. Mike Bates, thank you for your comments. Greg, the Killswitch Chafin, thank you for your comments. Everybody who come in, Mr. Dave Fieldbaum, and Chad, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us on RA Nation, man. I really appreciate you.
Thanks for listening to me babble.
Happy 4th of July, mofos.
Happy 4th of July. Yeah.
Oh, fireworks at my house. I'll see you guys next week for RA Nation. Who we got next?
Next week, we actually have Brian Sebastian from California, who's been in the music scene and as well as entertainment industry for a long time. So he's got some really good feedback for us. So we'll see how this works out. It's going to be great.
That's right, Mike. That's right, Mike, right there. America. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Music Familia. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for doing what you do as artists, musicians. Thank you, Chad. I appreciate you, homie.
All right. Later, guys.
Guys.